exactly what she wasn't supposed to do anyway.
It's like what not to do. Hi, any of you who watch us regularly, welcome back. And for those who haven't watched Facebook Live, this is the Max Money Center, and we are trying to bring interesting and informative people to talk to you and to us about things that I hope will matter to you in your financial life. So today we have two guests. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But first, I'm Terry Bennett. I'm Max Money Center's money coach.
And I'm Gina, so welcome back. We were just saying, I think our last show was in April, so thanks to our returning audience out there, and I hope we've got new people tuned in. We're super excited. I'm the director here at the Student Success Center, and I'm very passionate about learning about finances and sharing that knowledge. I think it's so important. So yeah, I'm excited about our guest today, Terry.
Yeah, okay, so we have two people from the EQ Bank. They're actually going to be talking about stnce, which EQ Bank supports financially. And this is Sarah, and this is Kim, and I'll let them introduce themselves. Would you like to go first, Sarah?
I'd love to. My name is Sarah Zandberg, and I'm the Senior Program Specialist at stnce, which is powered by EQ Bank.
And I'm Kim Kuklitz. I am SVP of Sales at the bank that I have been at now for almost 27 years. So I think I have some feedback and maybe some experience to talk about today. So, and thank you very much for having us here.
We're thrilled to have you.
This is great.
Great. So we're going to specifically talk about stnce. And one of the things that I first noticed when we went to write it on the board, that there's no A in the word stnce, and I would assume there's a reason for that.
There's absolutely a reason for that. So I don't know if you're familiar with Amy Cuddy and her TED Talk on power posing. If not, it's an excellent talk. It's so good. I recommend it to everyone.
What is the name of it?
So it's so Amy Cuddy, C-U-D-D-Y.
Okay.
Check it out afterwards.
Okay.
So basically, Amy Cuddy did some research about how your body language shapes your confidence and shapes your mind. And so her research really showed that how you're sitting, how you're carrying yourself, yes,
I got it.
Okay, builds your confidence. So if you're, always closed off, which is something that I used to do all the time,
okay,
your confidence is going to be lower. But if you're standing or sitting in a more powerful position, it's going to influence your confidence. So she pioneered power posing, which is standing with your hands on your hips and your feet about shoulder width apart. And you do this before a difficult conversation or something that you're nervous about in front of a mirror by yourself for 5 minutes. And results showed that it boosted your confidence. So the reason we kept the A out of stnce is because confidence is a work in progress, and the A isn't missing. We're saving that space for you. So that's the story behind the A.
Okay, well that's interesting.
That's
okay.
Excellent.
Okay, so let's talk about what is stnce and what are you trying to do?
Definitely. So stnce is a movement, and Kim here is our founder. And it is pioneered at EQ Bank, and it's a movement to help women have honest, open conversations about finance. So before stnce was created, we did some research, and what we found from the research was really interesting, that we thought there was a huge knowledge gap between women and men when it came to their finances. And that wasn't true. It was only about 10%, but the confidence gap was huge. So we pivoted a little bit and decided to make this a financial confidence initiative. Because when you're confident in something, it will bleed into other areas of your life, and why not start with finances?
And as I just said, I've been at the bank for 27 years. I think I'm pretty financial savvy. My husband is portfolio manager, and I had my investment statement on the kitchen table, and he said, "Do you have any questions, Kim?" And I said, "No." "You understand everything?" "I don't understand any of it." And I said, "But you know what? First of all, you're my husband and you're my financial planner, so I'm okay." He said, "It's not good enough." So I thought to myself, driving into work, is that just me or is it other people? So I started asking colleagues at work. I said, do you have investments? Yeah. What are they in? I have no idea. Who looks after it? My husband, my financial planner. And I thought, okay, started asking some friends, and I found out that they were all in the same boat. Doesn't mean every woman is, but it was like, why are we deferring our ownership of understanding finances to somebody else? So I went to our CEO and I pitched the idea, and it was an interesting response back, because right away he understood it. Why did he understand it? Because he also has a wife that is not in the financial world that we are in, And he said, you know what, it would take the weight off my shoulders if she would actually take an interest
that's true.
in what's happening.
Part of the
right?
partnership,
It's, part of the
right?
partnership, because I feel the weight, and if something happened to
Yeah.
me, I'm not sure that she would be able to understand what's going on, and she's put ownership onto somebody else, which in some cases could backfire.
Yeah.
So go ahead, do a business case, do the business case. He said, you know what, I like it. So you've got a 5-year commitment from the bank to go out, and as Sarah says, her best piece, what he said is, I don't want this to be a pop-up. I want the commitment from the bank to get out there and try and educate women and to want to take ownership and not defer it to somebody else. But how the confidence piece came in is that, yes, we saw that there was a difference between men and women with respect to the financial knowledge, but it wasn't as big as we thought, but the confidence piece was. So we thought, okay, hang on a second, we're onto something here. If we're gonna get out there and try and help women with confidence, okay, if you're gonna start somewhere in your life with confidence, or one aspect of your life, let it be with your finances first.
Well, I was just gonna say that because women are known to lack confidence in many areas.
In many
You
areas,
know, especially
many
in
areas.
terms of job and job skills, right? We've seen that research.
But really, what's
Um,
more pervasive in your life than money? It touches on
Absolutely.
absolutely
Everyone.
everything. So if you can build it
Absolutely.
there and know that, and it wasn't so hard maybe to build it, you may be empowered to then take ownership of other stuff in your life too.
Well,
Isn't that what you want?
that-
Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
You know, because we know that women lack confidence in many other areas as well.
Well, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. So if you become confident
Interesting,
with
yeah.
your finances, I believe that it helps you become confident in other aspects of your life, right? And that's the important thing for women. And one of the things that we see as well is that, you know, there's all these initiatives out there around women leadership,
Yes.
women entrepreneurs, and we're really pushing and trying to get women to feel good about, you know, being a leader. But there's something missing, and we are not in any way challenging any of those initiatives. We think we have the missing ingredient to most of those initiatives
Which
out
is
there,
confidence.
which is the confidence. And if we
Yeah.
can help with the confidence, right, with money,
Would
that
boost
helps
that.
with leadership, and it helps with
Mhm.
being an entrepreneur.
Right.
So we want to partner with other initiatives out there to help, because we really think the confidence piece is what holds back many women.
Okay. Well, I mean, certainly Max Money Center is about empowerment.
Yes.
But we're not targeting specifically women, we're targeting, you know,
Yeah.
the student population.
Mhm.
But we want everyone to start to take a real, be very cognizant of money in their life, be very aware of what they're doing with it. And
Yes.
interesting, because you're starting more around investments, it sounds like, that at least that's where your
Well, that's how
CEO
the-
is
that's
sort
how
of
the-
willing to
some of the
understand it.
research,
Because
taxes
of all
I
the things
thought
that
too,
students
right?
come to me
Taxes
about,
and about taxes, I love that.
taxes
Yes.
and investments seem
And
to be
saving,
huge.
budgeting,
Yeah, well,
all
yeah.
of those things.
all of them, but mostly
Yeah.
investments. Students are very interested in trying to make their money, use it well, effectively, and
That's
help
right.
it grow, right?
That's right.
That's what you want to do.
And listen, as we know, it's not really taught in the schools, but we
No.
have heard now
It's going to
that
grade 10.
it's,
We're doing
yes,
that,
so,
yeah.
so that
It is
that's a
because
real
of the whole
start.
financial literacy movement
Exactly,
across
yeah.
Canada,
Exactly.
so,
Right.
yeah. these
And look
are
how many
all
students are
helping
retiring with
pieces.
debt after
Oh,
school.
graduating
Right,
with debt,
yes,
right.
and you know what, also,
Yeah, 7 to 10 years.
yeah, no, and so, and that's gonna set them back when they wanna move on with their life and buy a house.
Yeah.
So it's really understanding, and the budgeting part as well. You know, there's a lot of things out there that we wanna buy, but you know what, we got a budget for that, right?
That's
It's
Yeah.
you know, we're in I think in an environment where it's all about spending. Fashion, you're gonna spend, restaurants, you're gonna spend, you know, decorating your house, everything involves spending money. But what about the
You
saving?
breathe and you
That's
spend
right.
money.
Well, and this is something that Terry, you and I talked yesterday on the phone about imposter syndrome.
Yes, right.
And this is something that I've been studying. I'm writing a speech on it right now. And something that I really keep coming back to is we truly do live in a comparison culture. Every time you open up Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is you're doing, you're seeing what you don't have. But do we ever stop and think, is that what I want? Do I want to go snowshoeing in the mountains this winter? Is that what I really want? Or did I see someone else do it and think, oh, I don't have that? So who wrote the list of those things that you want to do? Did you write your list or did someone else write your list?
And the
So-
critical thing is you need to write that list.
Exactly,
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's yours, these are
That's
your
right.
goals.
Yeah,
That's
what,
right.
what do you value?
Yes, what do you
value?
value?
That's right.
And is your money being
And where
spent
do you
on the
want
things
to
that you
invest? Absolutely,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And which could be different for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very different.
So for the first year with Stance, we have a
Yeah.
5-year commitment. We brainstormed, so how do we get it on the radar screen? This is a grassroots initiative, nonprofit. So we decided that we were gonna go out and find a female entrepreneur that actually would understand Stance and would be able to help us get it onto the radar screen. It's funny, we went out to actually 10 well-known
Really?
ambassadors. They all wanted to be the ambassador for Stance.
Oh,
We
that's
chose
wonderful.
We chose Michelle Romanow from
Okay.
Dragon's Den. And a few key points that Michelle said. So if anyone doesn't know sort of Michelle's background, she went to Queen's. She created the tea room that's still there. It's the coffee shop at Queen's.
The tea room.
Yep, and one of
Famous
her
tea room.
in one of her speaking pieces that she did that we launched. And this was right in the beginning, and it was sold out. It was we had 300 people at this event, and people were calling us, going, "Can we have a ticket?" We couldn't. We didn't have the capacity, but anyway. So Michelle spoke, and the key things that resonated with Michelle was you need to fail, and it's okay to fail, right? So she said, I can't tell you how many times I've failed along the way to get to where I am right now. So if I can tell you anything,
Experience.
yeah, exactly. So it's experience, which we
It's
were
that
talking
experience,
about.
which is part of
No,
the research,
it-
I know as
it-
well.
exactly,
And, we talked a
exactly.
little bit about that before.
Yeah, so having that event, again, that was sold out. We saw that you know what, this is what we need to do, and have keynote speakers sharing some of their own stories of failure and success, because that's really what life is about. Outside of that, we needed to create our hub, and I'm going to let Sarah tell you, which is our online platform. And Sarah, why don't you give a little bit of background of what that really is and how that is a value and a tool for anybody that finds they're in the situation where, you know what, maybe I don't understand, maybe I'm not confident.
Yeah,
so
we want to hear
Sarah,
about that.
Sarah can tell you that.
Yeah.
Definitely, and so for anybody that's wondering what the website is, stnce.ca.
.ca.
This is our resource hub where we have all of our articles. And just to touch on one more thing that Michelle said that I think is really important, she said something in one of our
Yes.
interviews that she said, you don't fix a confidence problem by just telling people, be more confident.
Right.
And it's so true.
Yeah.
And I think that, what we need
No.
to do, we need to
No, you need experiences too.
You
But I
do,
know
and
they
you need
need
to have those
I'm sitting
failures.
straight.
Yes,
Yeah.
you need
And
experience.
and to talk about, Mike, why don't we talk about money more? I feel like, it's one of those topics, and to bring in a
Still taboo.
personal, it's still taboo. When I was growing up, I watched my mother paying bills with checks because it was the 90s, and I asked her what she was doing, and she would not share with me. So I think we bring those experiences with us throughout our life, and we kind of grow up learning. As I grew up learning, money was none of my business. So when I moved out
Yeah,
on my own in my early
absolutely.
20s, that's still how I felt about money, and it was a really damaging thing to break, and really hard to break. But yes, I'll talk more about the website. So the website is our resource hub where we have tons of information. We were talking about investing. We just published a 3-part article series on investing. So Investing 101, and then
Great.
once you want to take action to begin
Okay.
investing, what are the steps you take? And then followed it up with an investing checklist of all sorts of common investing terms and what
That's a
they
great
mean.
tool to refer our students
So
So is it under, so
absolutely.
it's
It's
Stance,
under
Stance.ca.
stance.ca.
and it's just
we
under
were just-
resources?
Well,
Yeah.
right now it's on the main page on the
Okay.
main
We can-
carousel because it's our feature right now.
Okay.
But if you go on stance.ca and sign up to our mailing list, you get advance notice of everything we put out, which is
Okay.
really cool. And we
Okay.
don't email every week. We try and
Yeah.
really be selective because we know people get
We
wild
recommend
mail.
books.
So that's great,
Yeah.
because our
Yeah.
students are really interested in, like Terry
Yeah.
was saying,
Investing.
in investing
And they're
and
also,
taxes.
yeah, so if they can go on it whenever they want, that's great.
Absolutely.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's the key, so I'm glad you brought that up. This is a safe environment,
Right.
and just speaking about women in general, some don't feel confident to actually walk into a bank, okay? And for some of us, we may say, well, what's the big deal?
So
But a lot, but
I'm
some
sorry,
women,
I love empowering women with
some
finances.
women don't feel confident
I'm-
actually walking into a bank and talking about their investments or even banking. So what we wanted to do was to provide a safe environment,
Yeah.
which is the
I'm
Stance
excited.
the hub, which is there's a number of things. That's why you need to go on. We've got we recommend books. We've got experts. The op-eds are unbelievable. And in fact, when we did our first posting of the op-eds, I was reading and I went, oh, that's me. That was me. And when you can, when you can be that effective that it resonates with your audience, right? It helps you to go, okay, wait a minute, I'm not the only one here. Okay, I can actually do this. The big thing is that I was promoting this library, and the library is outside of the books, it's the glossary. So it's like when you walk into a doctor and he says to you, you've got this, this, and this, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I'm okay, yeah, and then you walk out and you're like, okay, what is that? What was that? What was that term you said? The lingo that is used in medical, in legal, and anywhere, financial. You can go to a party and somebody...
I wanted, yeah, exactly. I mean, I was reading your research and it was interesting because this is something we found too, that people are just saying, hey, this information's boring, it's hard to understand. It needs to be a little bit more entertaining. So you're like, okay, how do we deliver this information?
Well,
And
that's it.
what we want to do with stnce.ca. Everything, we make sure that our tone is approachable, but at the same time, we're not talking down to anybody because,
No.
you know,
We
you're
talked about
you're
that. Yeah,
intelligent people
absolutely.
and we
Yep.
recognize that. But we want to make it approachable, we want to make it fun, and that's what Kim was talking about, the op-eds. We have women who've shared their stories about how they overcame things in their career, about how they budget, their money tricks, all these things. It's all there on the website, and there's a
wonderful.
wealth of information there.
So it's almost like
little
excellent.
blogs.
Oh,
yeah,
Well,
little
yeah.
blogs, yeah. And just going back to the glossary, like let's just take compounding interest.
Yes.
Well, you can ask a lot of people about and they'll go, what? That's really important for you to
So
know.
important.
So our glossary isn't just going to give you what the definition is, it's going to
We're
give
doing
you,
what is
it's
there.
going to give
Yeah.
you an example under it,
Yeah.
okay?
Right.
Because a lot of times when you look at a dictionary and you look up a word and you go, okay, but
How does it work?
how visually, or give me an example, and people,
Some
some people are the examples that
Yes.
really help, so I really want to make it that, oh, wait a second, so you will see that there'll be certain examples underneath all the terminology, and when you understand the terminology and you do it at your own time, then when you actually feel like you can go to a financial planner, when they start talking about compounded interest, you understand it.
Yes,
You understand
And
it.
it's not so intimidating.
It's not intimidating.
Because
Yeah.
now
No.
you're talking the
So it's a
same
bit
language.
of
That's
sort
it.
of preparing yourself for that
Definitely.
lingo. That's gonna
That's-
happen.
Yeah,
Everyone
but it is
Right?
the
Like
lingo,
every-
yes.
It is the
Everywhere.
lingo, and they're, you know, so
let's
I
learn
learned
the
that.
language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's daily interest? How does that work?
Yes.
So we want to break it down, right? That it's easy for people to understand. And for some it may be easy, but I'm sure there's some words in the glossary that I may have to go, oh, wait a minute, what is that again?
Yeah.
So, and this
Me
is work
Me
in
too.
progress for us.
You know what, I
Me too,
always
and I'm
forget
and
what
I'm a
APR means.
CPA.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm a max, I'm
You
the
know?
coach here.
And I go ask Terry, what is that?
So the interesting thing is, you may have people out there,
Part of it
or
could
you,
be age, Terry.
or you may have women out there that say, oh, that's not me.
I'm good.
I'm fine. Do you know what? Here's what happens in your life on life cycle. And let's just take women again, because this is also for men to come on.
Yeah, I was gonna say
right?
men could do
Yes,
this
yes,
too, right? Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But through the cycle of your life, you may not be one of those vulnerable women now, but you could end up being a widow.
Absolutely.
You could end up being divorced. You
Yes.
could end up being a
Well,
single mother. So, and even if you feel like, oh, you know what, I'm okay, you know a lot
never
of women
know.
that are not. And it's about passing that on.
Yes, Sharon.
We know mothers, daughters, sisters, nieces, right? So if you feel confident, I
Great.
love that. That
Pass
is
it
great.
on.
Pass it
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Talk about it and
So
help
that's sort of
other
part
women.
of your vision.
Absolutely.
Share.
Yeah,
And that's why I
that's
say
part
I-
of Stance's vision, is to sort of
Yes.
pass it on,
Absolutely.
share.
Talk
Yes.
about it.
Don't keep us a secret. And this was interesting. It's good that you touched on that. I was at an event earlier this year, and I was speaking to a room of women leaders, and I said, you know, I talked about the confidence piece, and I said, how many of you truly feel confident in your finances? And I swear, 90% of the room put their hands up, and I thought, okay, and so this is where I usually say, okay,
Interesting.
so learn. But I said, okay, great, that's awesome for you. Please be an influencer in other people in your lives. Share stance
So
with
be an
them. If you
influencer.
feel 100% confident,
That's
awesome.
the right word.
Share it.
And see, this is the culture that we have at EQ Bank is, and again, it's just one of the things that we do, but our culture is to talk about these types of things, right? Get consumers engaged, understand what you're doing if you're going to go out shopping to get this rate or invest here. It shouldn't be something that's seen as being taboo. And that for us is very, very important.
And you know,
And so
but that's Max Money Centers too, isn't it, Gina?
It sounds like it is.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Like our vision?
Our vision has
Oh,
been to,
yeah,
we even wanted to
absolutely.
change the whole culture in the university,
Yeah.
that people could be talking about,
To promote a culture
to
of
promote a
financial
of
there we
financial
go.
empowerment,
That's
you know,
exactly.
Empowerment.
to talk about it, to not feel ashamed, to be able to share with your fellow students, I'm having a hard time,
Mhm.
and having other people who've maybe had a hard time and found a solution, that they're sharing that solution with their peer, with
Yeah,
their
so
friend.
I love the
So I
idea
love
that
what you're
people are
doing.
showing their tips, right? Because people could have really neat tips
Fantastic
out there
tips, yes.
about how to budget or control
Yeah.
things that
Yes.
might work for them. So
Even
I
a
love that,
resource.
that we haven't thought of, right?
Yeah.
So I love that people are contributing to those solutions
Yeah.
to say, this is something that I do.
And
But-
something for me that is really, really important, and you know, we talked about that this is a grassroots initiative and it has become a movement. For me, I mean, this is my full-time job. This is what I live and breathe 24/7.
You're so lucky.
I am so lucky.
She's so lucky.
to have this is one of my mentors right here, whether she knows it or
Wonderful,
not.
absolutely,
But to
I
have
could
given
tell.
me that opportunity to be able to do that. So one of my main focuses is to make stnce a safe space. If you have a question and you want to write in, please do. I'm behind all the social media channels, so it's a friendly face. No one's judging you, and that's what we want. That's my
No,
goal.
that's wonderful. I could sort of relate to what you were saying about your parents and you know, your parents' attitude, and you know, kind of like it's none of your business, because that's basically how I kind of grew up. Like you know, we didn't talk about money except that we
My
didn't have any.
parents went bankrupt.
You know, really?
Oh, so they
Well,
were
you know, I would
embarrassed.
ask.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's-
they were
it's tough.
embarrassed.
So they didn't want to share.
But for me, it was like, can I have this? You know, we're going on a school trip, Dad. Could I have $20? And he goes, sure. If you want to wait for me, I just need to go rob that bank down the street. And I thought, oh shit! Oh, sorry. We're
Not EQ Bank, not EQ Bank, because we're an online platform.
Oh, I would be like, I need to get this form to the teacher by tomorrow. And so this is what he would say to me, and I was like, what? We can't go rob banks, but no. And interestingly enough, just the past few days, my daughter's trying to get an increase on her student loan, and of course I'm the co-signer, and now all of a sudden the banks ask for all this additional information, which my daughter is being copied on, you know? And this, so it's kind of interesting, right?
Yes.
So now she's seeing everything unfold, you know?
Yes, yeah.
And I'm thinking, this is good.
Yeah.
Because, you know, she's feeling comfortable to ask me, and I'm actually feeling comfortable to share it. Like,
Yeah.
this is what it is, right?
That's so great.
Yeah.
Well, we
and
have
so
that motto now that we say for people that, and it's not just for men, is that in anything that you're doing, but even in finances, it can be uncomfortable. People need to get better being comfortable being uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable, yes.
It's very
Absolutely.
important.
It's
Right?
okay to say, I don't
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
And you know what, and you say,
Yeah.
I don't know, and then I'm gonna go find out.
Well, that's
Well,
right.
you know, my daughter's asking, why is the bank asking for all this additional information? I said, because I'm basically leveraged right now, pretty bad, right? But anyways, you know, so, but you know, she wants to understand it,
Right.
so I'm thinking this is a
It's a
good
learning
thing.
experience.
Yes.
a
It's
learning-
also a good learning experience
experience.
for her, but it's also something that I wasn't really used to, you
Yes.
know, and so I
Yeah.
thought this is a
But
good opportunity
every time you
to
talk,
teach Daniela.
it's a teaching moment. That's what I
It's a
call it.
teaching-
It's a teaching moment.
Yeah,
for
Even
sure.
when we do taxes, we do thousands of people
Oh.
students'
Yes.
taxes
I
through
love
Max
I
Money
love
Center.
taxes too, guys.
But I don't want them just to do the taxes. I
No.
want them to learn
Understand
why
it.
are they
Carries
doing
it,
it.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a teaching moment. So anyway, we're going to have to draw this to
Yeah,
a
if we
close.
could
It's
just do
been
some
a-
closing
Oh,
things
yeah,
on
yeah.
stance,
Just
that
one
would be
thing,
great.
yes.
Yes.
But you know, I just want to add one thing, because I think what you said was really important about your life cycle. Because when you're 18 to 25, you may not be anticipating what situation you might find yourself in
Yes.
that had you learned or done things differently
Yes.
might place you in a
That's
different.
absolutely.
No, and I think that's where that confidence comes from, because then you're independent.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, why is that? Why does that confidence go way up when you take control of your financial situation? Which means you know how much money you have, and you know how much money you don't have. That, to me, that's your
But
financial.
if we can start that earlier
But if
now,
you can
Yes.
start that earlier,
then
it
you're having
establishes
confidence when you're older.
your
Absolutely.
independence though, right? You're not
Absolutely.
depending on somebody
Absolutely.
else to tell you if you have enough money. You're like,
Yes.
I
I know
know,
it.
I
Yes.
know exactly how much money I have that will allow me to be independent. So if I were alone today,
Yes.
and I think that's where that confidence
Yeah,
comes from. Where you're not
absolutely.
relying on, because your parents are gone.
Yes.
I mean, I used to rely on mom
No,
and dad.
you can't rely on anybody.
But I'm not gonna rely on my
you should
husband.
only rely on
Never rely
yourself.
on your part. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Don't
So
defer
I
Yeah.
don't defer ownership, and I think,
Yep.
yeah, and so anyway, I just wanted to touch on that because
Yeah,
it's
no,
very
that's a
important.
good- that's a
Because
good
my,
point.
I mean, this happened to my family, you know,
Yes,
where my
yes.
sister, you know, always relied on her partner, and when she was alone and when they separated, it was like, what do
Yes.
I do? I don't even know
Well,
how
that's
to.
why
She
stance.
said, I
Yep.
don't know how to write a check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
You know, and so I love, you know, because
Yep.
you don't anticipate, right?
No, those are great examples of what happens.
Whoever anticipates that they're gonna be a widow,
Yeah.
or
Yes.
that their partner's gonna run off with all their money. That happened, by the way.
Yes.
So do we-
okay,
closing
so let's
comments.
draw the close.
Yes.
So one thing that I just, and because we were talking about learning, talking about students, we're at a university, I've got students on my mind. You don't stop being a student, ever.
That's true.
Can we just
Take
say
it from me.
learning?
Yeah, lifelong
stop.
learning,
It's
that's
lifelong
one of
learning.
McMaster's.
Absolutely, and we've run into women in
Messages.
their 50s and 60s who say, I need to learn more. So don't think
Wonderful.
that because you reach a certain
Yeah.
age that
Yes.
learning has to
Great
stop.
point.
No.
It goes throughout your life.
Thank
For me, a closing comment,
Yes.
please, you know, if you go to stnce.ca and just hit subscribe and you get access to member-only
Oh my
content.
goodness, that's wonderful.
Advance notice of when our next events are going to be, which we have fantastic
I'm
keynote
gonna go to
speakers
one of
like
those
Michelle,
events.
please do.
Stay tuned.
And
Actually, we could promote those.
definitely,
Yeah.
and you'll get advance notice of when our glossary of terms is coming out. We're aiming for Financial Literacy Month, November, so
Okay.
on the mailing list, those people will be the first to know about everything that we're doing.
And in closing,
And in closing, show your
stance is not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere because
Oh,
I need a
that's-
job.
We're not
so.
going anywhere.
Sarah needs a
This is my
job.
job now,
Sarah
so.
needs a job.
Thank you for
Oh, well,
having
we'd
us.
just like to thank
Yeah.
you for coming, we
Yeah,
really
thank
appreciate
you
it.
for having
One of the
us.
things that I would like to close with is that Max Money Center, we are really committed to empowering all you students, but we are going to take a special interest perhaps a little bit with women and empowerment and money, and we hope to
Confidence, yeah.
you know,
Definitely
have
tap
Stance
into
back
this.
again, perhaps also in,
We'd love to
We
come
would
back.
further
love to
down
have
the
you
road.
guys
Thank you.
back.
Financial
you.
Literacy Month
Well-
in November to do something so
Absolutely.
women and certainly we're
Yeah,
not trying to
let's
exclude
talk
men,
about
we're not,
that.
but let's just keep this conversation going because it is so important that we gain confidence in this area, okay?
That's
Do you
so
want a
great.
closing
No, I just
statement?
wanted to thank you both.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful.
so much.
And
Thank
no,
you.
Terry and I were speaking just before the event. We were saying, you know, we're gonna ask like, how could we support Stance? How could we help and share those messages? So I think you've let us know how we can do that and how we can share with our students. So that's
Share,
wonderful.
yeah.
And whatever else we can do to support your cause. You know, we're very interested. So thank you. We're both really
Yes.
passionate
No,
about
that's
this
great.
stuff. So
And if anyone has any
anyway,
questions,
thanks everybody. If you have
everyone, thank you.
questions,
Yes, we'll get back to you.
we'll see you again on Max Money
Center
Center Show.
Facebook Live.